In this video, we are going to be covering some basic principles of how to bat in a T20 match. Statistically, in T20 cricket, the team that faces the least amount of dot balls wins the game. So to start off this video, we're going to look at some strike rotation options to help limit those dot balls as much as possible. The first option we're going to look at for strike rotation is dropping the ball into the pockets. Here we're going to be looking at 3 different pockets, and they are working across and getting it to square leg by playing it off the front hip, nice and late. Second one we're going to look at is getting the ball down to third man, making sure the head gets into line, playing the ball nice and late to get the angle. And the third one, we're going to look to drop it between cover and point, nice and close so the fielders can't get there. We're going to look to do this by letting the ball come onto the bat and just drop it into the pocket. Moving on to the drills for this, we started off with some tennis balls, but having all 3 pockets in the batter's mind. The throw is going to throw underarm, trying to get into those positions. To get the one to square leg, you want to try and get your front hip in line, playing with a nice straight bat, allowing the ball to hit the bat and drop it there. The second one, getting down to third man, is making sure it's outside your body line, playing late onto the ball, letting the bat kiss off of the bat and running that angle. And the last one is getting your back hip in line with the ball, playing nice and late and allowing the ball to hit the ball and just cushion off into that pocket there. We're using tennis balls because the bounce of a tennis ball is so much more than that of a cricket ball that if you can get comfortable doing it here with the touch, when we move on to harder balls into a game situation, it will be that much easier. Now moving forward, we are going to go with the sidearm and the harder balls. Yeah, you're going to throw, and the batter's whole role is to try and get it into those pockets as much as possible. Obviously, if it's in an area where you can't hit it to the pocket, look to defend or leave it, because you do not want to teach yourself bad habits at the same time. This is to try and represent what we get into a game, with the pace of the ball coming onto the bat. The important thing for all 3 of these areas is that the ball comes onto the bat and that the bat doesn't go to the ball. This is going to give us the control to get it nice and close, but also the control to get it into the right areas to ensure that we get that single every single time. The second strike rotation option we're going to be looking at is looking to hit the boundary sweepers hard. For this, we can have all 6 sweepers out. We're going to have long off, long on, deep square, fine leg, third man, and an offside sweeper. This is just to show that you can hit all of these areas, making sure that we don't get into a habit of just hitting a couple of them. When we say hitting the sweepers hard, what you're trying to do is hit the ball hard at the sweeper, directly at the boundary fielder. Because then if you do make a mistake and hit it either side of them, you're going to get more value than your one. But at the same time, when you hit it hard to the boundary sweeper, there's only one fielder that can be involved in the game. Whereas when you're looking to try and drop it into the gap there are 2 fielders. For instance, with the offside sweeper, you'd have backward point and extra cover that could limit your ones. At the same time, if you're looking to try and beat the inner ring fielder, your mistake will generally go to that fielder and that will force another dot in the gap. The drill we used for this is the thrower is going to throw normal over arms. We're going to have all 6 sweepers out and the batter is going to hit the ball hard to the sweeper depending on the line and length of the ball. This is to show the batter that they can do it and make sure that they get into the right positions to give themselves the best chance of success. As the batter gets more comfortable with this, we're going to progress to quicker overarms and finally into sidearms to try and represent what a bowler would be doing to them in a match. If you can do this at the highest level in practice, it's going to be that much easier to do in a game situation and you can really make it count. By the way, if you want to increase your strike rate and improve your T20 game, grab one of our training schedules. Linked in the description below. Next up, as is T20 cricket, we obviously want to start hitting some boundaries. So we're going to move on to some power hitting. We're going to look to hit the ball over extra cover, keeping nice shape, making sure we can clear the fielder. Long off and long on, when it's nice and full, going through it. Mid-wicket or cow, if the line dictates it or if the length dictates it. This is really important to make sure that you can maximize your scoring potential with boundaries as long as you don't have the dots at the same time. For the drill, what we're going to do is the throw is going to be thrown over arms, nice and slow at the start. This is to allow the batsman the freedom to really hit through the ball. The goal for the batter is to go after every ball and try and hit it into those boundary areas to help them find their range and confidence to see if they can do it in a game. As the batter gets more and more comfortable with this, we're going to increase the pace, finally going to sidearm. What's important here is to make sure that you read the length and the line nice and early and you trust yourself through the ball. The big point that I want us to focus on here is making sure that our alignment is good, making sure we get into the ball and allowing the hands to hit through one line, because that is going to maximize our power, maximize our control and really allow us to dominate the bowlers as much as possible. Finally, some unorthodox areas where we're taking advantage of the field and trying to manipulate the bowler to bowl it into other areas where we may be stronger. The first one we want to look at is getting across nice and low and looking to lap the ball, What this might do is make the bowler change the line or the length, which could really work into your game going forward. Our next option is going to be very similar, except it's going to be the reverse lap. Getting across nice and low and looking to ramp it up over the short third man area. Again, this forces the bowler to really think about the lines that they need to bowl. The next options we're going to look at is early movements across the crease. So the first one, we're going to move across the stumps, getting outside off to look to access the square leg or fine leg region, depending on the line and the length that we get. What's important here is that you set early and hit from a base to access that area. And finally, what we're going to do is to look to give ourselves some room. For this, you're going to go outside leg, looking to hit the ball over extra, but if you get even more width, you can hit it over point. Just gives us more access to the field and opens up the game that much more for us. For the drill set for this, what we're going to do is, as the throw is starting to get into their thrown action, the batter is going to set nice and early into one of the predetermined positions. And then from there, they're going to be forced to play the shot. This is to force comfort into the shot, but also making sure that the set is nice and early so that the batter can track the ball. From there, it's really important that you're in a strong action position, ready to play the ball, with full access to the area that you want. So for instance, if we're going on the lap, make sure that the hands can extend out in front of you to try and get it before the bounce or on the bounce to get the elevation that is required. For the ones where you go across or give width, it's important to be in a strong position to allow your hands the freedom to swing through the swing path and access those areas. It is really okay to make mistakes here, because we are forcing ourselves to play shots that we might not be as comfortable with. But making sure that we set early gives us the best possible chance, and then the throw comes, playing the shot and getting the feeling of how it feels off the bat. We want to use this in games because T20 cricket is evolving so quickly, and 360 is how the game is going. If we can access more areas and manipulate the field, we put pressure back onto the bowlers.